Okay, good morning, math students. Today we are going to do our quiz review over graphing systems, and tomorrow we will do our quiz review over solving systems without graphing. So, to start, this is all based upon a graph. So, it says, how do you tell on a graph whether a system has one solution, no solution, or infinitely many solutions? So, I divided that up into three sections for the first two questions. Now, if you have class with me, we took notes on this, okay? And they look like this. So if you're looking at this, right, our notes told us that one solution, they were intersecting lines. No solution, we had parallel lines, and infinite solutions, they ended up being the same line. So if you have your notes, this is going to be something super important to know for your test. So on our review, though, what do we want to say? On a graph, there's one solution if the graphs are intersecting lines. And so maybe you would want to draw lines like this. If they intersect, they have one solution. Okay? It's no solution if they are parallel. And so the lines end up looking, something like this, and they never cross. That means there's no solution. Infinite solutions is when they are the same line. There's really two lines there, but one lands and then another one is graphed and ends up landing just over top of it, but on the same line. Okay, on the same sort of situation, we did where we would be able to tell from two equations whether a system has the same thing, one solution, no solution, or infinite solutions, without actually looking at the graph. And so on our notes, that was the next section of the notes when we did this, where we had the notes. And it says, when equations in a system have the same slope and the same y-intercept, they have infinite solutions, right? So we want to write that in on here. So under infinite solutions, the important part of that is that if it has same slope and the same y-intercept, or I'm sorry, yes, same y-intercept. Okay, that's infinite solutions. That means that it's going to be the same line. Okay, the next thing on here, it says when the equations in the system have the same slope and different y-intercept, they have no solution. Okay, those are going to be parallel. So same slope, different y-intercepts. Okay, that's no solution. And then the one solution is if they have different slopes. Right? If the slopes are different, automatically it's going to have one solution. The y-intercept can be same or different. It doesn't matter. All right, and that's how we tell. So those are important to know for when we do the next sections of the graphing and solving without the graph, but just knowing how many solutions. So I'm going to use this information here to answer the next question, okay? It says, how many solutions does each system have? Well, in order to know that, we have to figure out slope and y-intercept for each of them. So take a look. On the first one, right, you have two different equations. And so let's start with the top one. The m, or the slope for the top one, is -3. The y-intercept, or the b, is +2. On the next one, the m is -3. That's the one next to the x, right? Slope is next to x. The y-intercept is -7. So you're looking at this, right? And you see that you have the same slope and different y-intercepts. And so you use these notes. Which one says same slope and different y-intercepts? Oh, that's right here. That's no solution to this. Okay, without graphing this at all, we know that these are going to have no solution. They'll be parallel lines. Okay, let's do B. Let's do the same thing. So the top one is all good. I can find M and B on the top one, but the bottom one, I'm going to have to write in y equals first. So I'll do the top one while we're thinking about it. All right, so y equal 2x plus 6, our m is 2, our b is 6 because it's in y equals. Now, I'm going to have to do a little work to this one, which I'm going to do down here on the side because I don't need all of this space for that. So I'm going to move this up and I'm going to do this work over here on this side. So negative 4x plus 2y equal 12. All right, I have to get that in y equals. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel that negative 4x by adding it. And then I'm going to divide everything by 2 so I can cancel that 2. And then you want to rewrite it. You really have y equals, well, 12 divided by 2 is 6, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. And now I'm going to use this right there to get my second m and b. So m and b. So remember, m is our slope, and that's the one next to the x. So that's 2. And my y-intercept is my one that is the b, not next to the x, and that's 6. And so that's where these are. So now let's look. We now have the same slope and the same y-intercept. So if you go up to your notes, same slope, same y-intercept, that's infinite solutions. And we know that that's going to graph the same line. All right, last but not least, you can probably guess what it's going to be, but I want you to make sure you know this, okay? And so on this one, the top one is the one we need to change around. So I'm going to use this space above here to do that, all right? So I've got 2x plus 3y equal 9. So the first thing I need to do is get it in y equals. So I'm going to cancel the 2x by subtracting 2x here and subtracting it on the other side. And then I'm going to divide the 3 out to cancel that. So I rewrite it as y equals, well, 9 divided by 3 is 3. And negative 2 does not divide 3 nicely. So I'm going to leave it negative 2 over 3. And then x. Okay, so let's find m and b here. M is negative 2 over 3. That's the one next to the x. And my b this time is 3. How about this one here? What's m and b for this one? Well, m is next to x, that's 1/2. And b is without the x, that's 4. I didn't have to change that one because it was already in y equals. All right, let's answer the question now. Do I have the same slope? No, I do not have the same slope, and I do not have the same y-intercept. So my answer here, how many solutions, different slopes, right away says that this one has one solution. And we know that this one's going to cross in one spot. Okay, and maybe I should have put a box around the answers for each of these. Okay, perfect. So that's setting us up to do our graphing, which I'm going to do on the next video.